afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the third London White Coat ceremony at the beautiful Copper and Lumber. My name is Lauren and this is Azib, and together we're going to have a short speech and a little slideshow and video presentation. We hope that this will give you an insight as to what the last 4 years have been like for us. In June 2012, 7 fresh-faced individuals arrived in Antigua for the first time. Most of us had never met each other before, and we had no idea what lay ahead of us. The tears, the tantrums, the sleepless nights, but also the laughter, the fun, and the mountain of memories. By August 2014, we were joined by the almost fresh-faced Zach and Morris. Together we became the London 9. And as we sit here before you today, we are no longer individuals, but a family.
Over the course of these 4 years, our group has developed a really strong bond between each other. And today I would just like to share some embarrassing facts about each member of the team. Hopefully they're not too embarrassing. Okay. As we know, I'm going to start with Lauren because she's standing right here. And Lauren's always known to be on time. Whenever we have class, she's always on time. But there was this one day where we were sitting in an exam. It was an embryology exam. And then we wondered, the time for the exam had actually started, and we were wondering where Lauren was. So out of nowhere, she walks in with her pajamas, and she has a really sour look on her face. She walks in and takes a seat and does the exam. But she got honours in that exam, so it was good. that was one of the occasions where I called Lauren out. Okay. Moving on to Merish. Merish she has a really strong memory. So when we're out and about, she can always, if we're lost in town, we always rely on her to guide us back. And for this reason, we call her Tonto. Okay. Moving on to Zach. I would consider Zach, he's the wisest member of our team, and he's a great person to ask advice from, as I often do. But besides this kind exterior lies a fighting machine, and he's actually very well versed in the hand-to-hand combat. Okay, Caitlin. Caitlin is the youngest of us, and she has a wonderful personality. I know that she'll make a great doctor in the future, but I know she'll make an even better doctor if she stops playing video games. Okay. Moving on to Suruva. Okay. From Suruva, I've known nothing but kindness from her, but unfortunately, she's been diagnosed with a condition known as selfie-itis. This is defined as the irresistible urge to deploy her phone at any given moment situation in order to take a selfie. We were all giving her all the support she needs in overcoming this chronic debilitating condition. Okay. Elizabeth. Now, I can only say nice things about Elizabeth because I'm actually quite scared of her. So she is a really good cook. She made me food once, it was really nice. Okay. Moving on to Mehdi. He's actually very, very talented at teaching others, and he has a very strong dedication from his studies, and it's actually palpable in his persona. I often get inspired by him, and he's also very good at bargaining. He is very good at bargaining. Okay, and last but not least, Morris. Morris, you support Tottenham, right? No. He knows Arsenal. He supports Arsenal. The advantages of making this part of the speech is that no one can say anything embarrassing about me, so I'm let off.
Yeah, not so fast. Not so fast. If you were to visit campus late at night, look really carefully, you might just catch a glimpse of Azib, dressed all in black, running past. This is Azib the ninja. We're convinced he's training for a zombie apocalypse. So as you can see, we have got to know each other pretty well over the years. And while we come from different cultures and backgrounds, we truly have become family. Like families, we do have our fallouts from time to time, but in time of need, everyone sticks together. Birthdays are probably the most notable example of this. As me and Sarora will tell you, after having spent 4 birthdays on the island, it's often when you feel the most homesick. But with each one, the group has come together and ensured that we're not alone. This normally comes in the form of an ambush on the eve of their birthday as the clock strikes midnight, and usually results in one of our notorious cake fights. We've supported each other through all kinds of things on this island, and we have many memories to go with it. Just in case we were to forget any of these memories, there will be some kind of crazy photo to remind us.
Okay, I'm just going to move on to a more safer speech. I wanted to talk about not feeling inadequate when you go into clinical rotations. As the majority of us are starting clinical rotation next year, because we come from an offshore medical school, unfortunately, when we go into clinicals, people look down upon us for no apparent reason, apart from that we come from an offshore medical school. Our errors may be elevated, and whilst our successes and achievements may be dampened down. I would like you to see this as an opportunity, not as a bad thing, as a good thing to ignite a fire within yourself, a fire propelled by the desire to do and perform at the absolute best level. Aim to grossly outcompete your colleagues in however you can, and put yourself forward. Always volunteer, so much so that your attending at your rotation tells you to hold back, like Dr. Powell would often tell us to do. We have been trained to tackle the hardest basic science examination on the planet. That's the USMLE Step 1. We can deal with diagnosis, treatment. When I mention a few words, ideas flood into our minds, skewed by simple buzzwords. If I say ash leaf spots to our graduates here, what condition am I talking about? Tuberculosis, yeah, correct. See? Okay. If I present you with a triad of symptoms such as severe left flank pain, pulsatile mass, and hypertension, where's the most likely diagnosis? Okay.
I think we should start start the white coat, they're not ready.
You want again? Okay. Severe left flank pain, a pulsatile mass, lower abdominal, and hypertension. Aortic dissection. Well done, guys. Okay, and there's one last one. You probably know this as well. In what genetic condition would you see bilateral vestibular schwannoma? Neofibromatosis. Good. See, they are ready. Also, we have had unfettered access to patients compared to our US and UK counterparts, so this gives us a significant advantage over them. And it's for this reason we should not feel inferior in any regard to other medical students. Use that stigma that has been attached to you to break it as strongly and quickly as possible and move quickly towards that final goal.
Every single person in this room will have witnessed our struggles, but also our determination. Everyone has also played a big part in helping us get here today, so we believe a few thank yous are in order. The first big heartfelt thank you goes to our families. They're the ones that shaped us into independent and capable people. Without this, we would have never have survived medical school. They then made the commitment to support us throughout, both financially and emotionally. For this, we owe them big time. And I know I speak for a lot of people here when I say that it wouldn't have been physically possible without you. A phone call here, a message there, and even a surprise visit in my case. You'll never know how much it truly meant, and we hope that we can continue to make you proud. After all, our achievements aren't just for us, they're shared by the people that put us there in the first place.
Okay, this is just a personal message. I know my mum's not here, but I would just like to start by thanking my mother, who has struggled since day one to nurture and raise my siblings and myself to the absolute limit of her ability. She's not here today, but thank you, Mum, for everything. Words do not do justice to your sacrifices. To my father, who has always ensured that I have absolutely everything I need to study and has always placed me ahead of himself and has never once denied any of my requests. Thanks to you for all your support throughout my life, and I thank you for going through all these troubles and turmoil selflessly for the support. To my brother and my sister, I've been blessed to be related to you, and my dear cousin Usman, thank you for standing and supporting me in my darkest times.
Over the last 4 years, we have a lot to thank our teachers for. Each and every one has an open door policy, and they've become a big part of our lives. To Dr. Gilbert, thank you for putting up with our constant whinging and dramas, and still finding the time to teach us biochemistry.
Dr. Loy, we appreciate you overloading our brains in physiology. So much so that everyone at one point has fallen asleep in the class. I remember once I was in class and I was taking notes. I actually fell asleep while I was taking notes. I woke up and noticed scribbles on my pages. Thank you, Dr. Loy.
To Dr. Suresh, thank you for pushing us to be the best we can be. If we were brave enough to answer your questions, it would usually result in a 30-minute interrogation on the Krebs cycle, and side effects include sweating, shaking, and the occasional tear.
Okay, Dr. Powell, is Dr. Powell here? Yeah? Hey, Dr. Powell. Dr. Powell, thank you for creating such a relaxed environment conducive to our learning. We really appreciate that. Also, we promise to brush up on anatomy so we don't mistake the sesamoid bone for calcification.
To Dr. Herrera, thank you for making pharmacology fun. We've loved the constant stream of jokes and laughter to help making the extensive list of drugs vaguely enjoyable. Can I have some extra points for being nice?
Now I'm going to move on to the teachers that are no longer with us, but they did instruct us on our way up here. Dr. Disla, Dr. Russ, and Dr. Salam, although you are no longer with us, your instructions have remained engraved in our memories. To Dr. Torres and Dr. Ubinas, we wish you were here and thank you for all that you have done. And not forgetting Dr. Rodriguez. Where are you, Dr. Rodriguez? She's not here? Hi. Whilst we haven't had the pleasure of being taught by you, we hope you develop a special bond with your students as we have with our teachers.
We'd also like to thank all of the office staff who have somehow managed to put up with us over the years. Just to name a few: Miss King, Miss Garcia, Miss Frunton, Miss Punter, Miss Simon, Miss Gordon, Miss Daniels and Mr. Henry. But obviously a huge thank you to all of their wonderful staff and colleagues. The school wouldn't run without you.
I'm going to now thank the housing and maintenance staff, Ms. Andrews and Mr. Joseph. Thank you for streamlining the living environment at campus. Not forgetting Ms. Clark for looking after us and taking care of us.
And lastly, a huge thank you to all the staff at Copper and Lumber for hosting us today. A special mention to Neil and Eloise. I don't know if Neil is around, but I hope he can hear anyway. They've been exceptionally receptive to our every request, including a last-minute change around yesterday. And I think you'll agree they've made a beautiful job.
Yes.
Okay. Today is not the end of a journey, rather it's the beginning of a new chapter. In medicine, our journey never actually ends. It's a celebration of our achievements, forged through fire, our unbreakable will to succeed. Today symbolizes that we are ready to progress onto new frontiers using our knowledge to benefit others. It is a terrifying sense of duty, but at the same time, it is incredibly exciting. Thank you. Okay, now the next part of the program involves everyone moving on to that side. We're going to play our video presentation.